Hello and welcome to NJUKI'S Perspective. This is a channel where we share content around self-growth and self-development, especially in our 20s. But today, as you can see, we are not really doing a lot of the serious talking. Today is a fun video and it's a cozy one as well. So this is a segment that I have thought of introducing of book reviews, doing book reviews on a monthly basis. But this one is a special one because right now we are in the media and there is the media freakout, or is it called the media tag? Yeah, the media tag, where you just wrap up the books that you have read throughout the year that you have been loving, and I love seeing that on BookTube. So yeah, I decided to do it because I love it when my favorite creators do it, so I decided to do it as well. So this is an extra episode just also to let you in, give you some little tidbits about my life. We are on my bed, we are sat in my bedroom, and it's kind of fun, right? I hope you'll enjoy this one. A while back, I used to love reading non-fiction books more than fiction books, but right now I'm actually reading more fiction books. Right now, this year I have been on a slump of sorts, but last year I read I think I read more than 60 books, but it was because I was working on a certain platform where I would read and get paid. So yeah, last year I read a lot. So I think this year when I decided to stop working with the platform, I felt like for a long time reading for me was being evaluated, and as in, like, with that pressure of being evaluated, you kind of lose that spark. But it's coming back now and I love it. I love reading, I love getting lost in books. And yeah, so these books that I'll be sharing, I want to share the books that I've been loving, whether it's fiction and also non-fiction, and yeah, I'll be rating them. So yeah, so if you've read any of the books that I'll mention, you can tell me what rating you gave the book and what you loved about it. Yeah, number one, of course, you have to guess it. It is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Wow. My number one is Atomic Habits by James Clear. I really loved this book. It's about everything, forming habits. If you are interested in building healthy habits, I think this is the book for you. It is the first book you should read. I obviously rated it a 5 out of 5. It was so good. One of the favorite things that I picked from this book, there are a lot of things to pick from this book, but one of my most favorite that I constantly remember is that every action you take is a vote for the person that you want to become. Yeah, so I think Atomic Habits is my I pick it up often. I reread it, segments of it. Such a nice book, such a gem. Everyone should have it in their library. Yeah, so number two is Finding Me by Viola Davis. Finding Me, Viola Davis herself. Oh god, this book this book was so good, man. It was such a light read and also at the same time quite heavy, and also it was very short. It is very fast paced. The writing is so easy, it flows so well, the narration is perfect, and it's actually just 194 pages. I think I read this book in like 2 days. I was obsessed. And also it related a lot with me because of her life. I think we have a couple of things in similar. The part that really touched me was seeing how she was narrating how her father, when they were growing up, the father was a bit maybe drunk and stuff, and then as he aged he transformed and became a really responsible father. I think on so many levels this book resonated with me, and also seeing her struggles as an actress. I loved her character on Getting Away with Murder. I think that's where I first interacted with her. And just seeing the struggles that she has had to go through to get to where she is, man, mad respect to this. Also, I think everyone should have it in their library. So another 5 out of 5. Number 3, I don't have the physical copy, but it's Winning the War on Cancer by Sylvie Beljanski. This book was eye-opening. Honestly, I wouldn't have read it if I was not working on that platform that I mentioned. But this book was so eye-opening. So the author talks about the fact that there is a cancer cure, but it is holistic. It is a holistic approach from herbs, and yeah, some herbs extracted from South America. But big pharma does not want it to come out of the, to the public, because they will not be benefiting from, all the medication that they give people. This book was such an eye-opener. I don't know why I was reading a book on cancer, but honestly, I think anyone who has maybe a cancer patient, or if you are a medic who would maybe want to learn more about it, I think it's such a good book to pick. So yeah, Winning the War on Cancer by Sylvie Belzinski. Another 5 stars for me. My number 4 is The Mountain Is You by Brianna West. This one was another good book. It talks all about self-sabotage, why we self-sabotage, the various ways we self-sabotage, including procrastination, undervaluing yourself, overvaluing yourself. Yeah, it's such a good book on self-sabotage. And essentially what she tries to say is that at the end of the day, it's not the things that are outside you that you must conquer, but what is within you, your self-doubts and your self-sabotaging behaviors. So this one I gave a 4 stars because at some point it was a bit repetitive. Some things would have been explained with simpler, just a few words, but well, still a good book though. Yeah, number 5, Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. There you have it, the man himself. This was another good book. So essentially, David Goggins is a retired Navy SEAL and the only member of the U.S. Armed Forces ever to complete SEAL training, U.S. Army Ranger School, and Air Force Tactical Air Controller training. Well, you can go on to read everything else, but the writer David Goggins is such a legend. And if you are looking for something to motivate you to push yourself beyond the limits, this guy ran marathons with broken shins. And the things he has done, like, oh god, such a good book. And it's a memoir as well. Also, I love memoirs. This is a memoir, and Viola Davis's book is also a memoir. I love memoirs. David Goggins was once, he says in the book that he was once obese and overweight, and he went on to lose all that weight and become a Navy SEAL, and everything that he had to do in training because he was overweight, and he also didn't know how to read and write up until he was, I don't know, in high school, I think. But it was such a thought-provoking book, and a book to just push yourself. Yeah, so Can't Hurt Me was a solid 5 stars for me. Let's go on. The Psychology of Money. The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. There you have it. This was a good book. I read it, but I had only one issue with it. So essentially, the book is just about how to manage your money, investing, and making business decisions. Essentially, that's what the book talks about. It has some really good advice. But what I had an issue with it is that it was a bit based on a US based market or audience. I didn't feel like it related directly to me as as a Kenyan. But if you are able to contextualize it, it's such a good book as well. Everything about money. This one I gave a 3.5 stars because I struggled to read because of what I've said, the contextualization. It talks a lot about a US audience, and so hence 3.5 stars. Number 7 is The Sex Lives of African Women, Nana Dakoa. Wow, this was the syllabus book for last year in Kenya. Everyone was reading it, and I picked it as well. I picked it late last year. Essentially, it's just a collection of stories about African women and their sexualities. People trying to find, maybe you're battling with hiding your sexuality, exploring your sexual desires. It was a good book. I gave it a 3.8 stars, only because I didn't feel represented. It has a lot of stories on homosexual or a bit of maybe fluid people, and I didn't feel represented as a heterosexual woman. But otherwise it fed my curiosity on so many levels. I actually DM'd the author of the book when it came out and I was reading it, and I told her I raised that concern about why she didn't include more stories on heterosexual women and their sexual expeditions. And she said it's just that the women who came out shared those stories of what about being fluid and everything else. So yeah, so she said it's not like she wanted to raise an agenda or anything. It was just what her audience and what her participants were willing to share. But such a good book. Totally recommend if you want to know more about other people's sex lives. 3.8. Number 8 is The Seasons of Life by Jim Rohn. That one I don't have the physical copy, but I give it a 4.5 stars. Essentially, the book explains how we go through different seasons in our lives. Like there is a winter in your life, there is a summer, there is an autumn, there is a spring, and in every season there are things that you're doing. For example, in winter, if you're in a winter season of your life, you're probably maybe you are out of employment, you are unemployed, so you have to depend on what you have saved up, what you saved up during autumn. When you are in summer, you are enjoying life, you are enjoying the things that you have worked hard for in spring. So essentially it just explains the seasons of life. It's such a good book. Totally recommend it. A 4.5 stars for me. So those are my self development best books of that past half of the year. And yeah, I am on a slump on reading self-improvement books, but I hope to get back. But tell me what self-development books you've been loving. I would love to know, and I'd love to read them as well. Otherwise, if you have read any of the books that I have shared on my self-development wrap up, please tell me, share in the comments. I would love to know what you thought about the books and what ratings you gave them. Otherwise, that's all for this video. Subscribe and comment.